It occurs to me that I might have done the YWC a great disservice when I decided not to review Raw last week. Now, or last night. I could tell you that I was tired, that I had a long weekend, that it was a Canadian holiday, etc., but that's no excuse. You know, the whole world is not bound to Canadian holidays, so please humbly accept my apologies and allow me to present my Raw review. What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, here with the shortest ever Raw review you are ever going to hear. Your October 10th Raw review. The ladies are having a Hell in the Cell match, and Paul Heyman called out Goldberg for next week. I've been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I am tagging out. Bye. What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, here with your October 11th SmackDown Live A-Show post No Mercy review. The show starts off with a highlight package from No Mercy. No Mercy, guys. It keeps rolling forward with what I've been saying all along. The writers from NXT that are now writing for SmackDown Live, it shows. No, it's not going to set the world on fire. It's not WrestleMania. It's not supposed to be. But it was a good show. There were things I disagreed with. I don't mind the world title being first. The IC title should have been last, in my opinion. Best match of the night, by far. Best work that Ziggler and Miz have done in ages. I mean, obviously we didn't get the women's title match because Becky Lynch is injured, and that kind of sucks. But, I don't know, all in all, an enjoyable show. And nothing really to hate on. I mean, we got Kurt Hawkins not debuting, which is a trend that continued tonight, unless I missed something on a commercial break. But here we go. We saw the No Mercy highlight reel. It was all good. They made the highlight reel appear as if the triple threat match happened in the main event. But we started off the show predictably with Ziggler coming out to loud, you deserve it chants. Typical babyface, we did it, rah, 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 thanking the crowd. Talks about his struggle, talks about his win on Sunday. Talks about how even the TV guide did, and this is true too, because I saw it all over Twitter. Even the TV guide preview of SmackDown this week didn't think he was going to win, because if you read the descriptions for most TV guides, it says Dolph Ziggler appears on SmackDown to announce his, to speak about his departure. Now, whether that was planted or what, I don't know, but if it was, it's brilliant by fucking WWE, because everybody's like, oh, I got a spoiler, and WWE went, fuck you, buddy. Said I even doubted myself, but I don't doubt myself anymore. I belong here. Miz comes out, and this is where the Miz is fucking great. He doesn't come out in his typical, like, man dress, shawl, you know, Hollywood thing. He comes out in all black, in a suit. So does Maurice. They got the sunglasses on. Very much in mourning, very much in funeral mode. Talks about nobody won the title last night. What we saw was the death of the Intercontinental Championship. In my entire 188 days, I survived all the roadblocks that people like you and Daniel Bryan put in my way. Your victory is a funeral. This isn't the end. You know, I'm a movie star. I know when a story's over. This is only Act 2. I'm the hero, and as we all know, heroes always get the gold, the glory, and the girl, and I've already got the girl. Ziggler, with a shit-eating grin on his face, points to the Titantron, where they replay the winning pinfall, and Miz, and that sort of dumbstruck look he has on his face while he's hovering over the ropes. He makes fun of the Miz, says the Miz looks like he's crying, and then the crowd responds with a "you were crying" chant, which is great. Miz ramps up his promo. He says, you and Daniel Bryan stole from me. Imagine what you stole this title that meant so much to me. Imagine what I'll do to get it back. Which leads into Ziggler versus the two remaining members of the Spirit Squad, with Miz at ringside. Obviously, Ziggler wins. Super kick to Kenny, to which we get from Mauro Ranallo, oh my god, they killed Kenny. Which is both corny and fucking wonderful. Miz jumps Ziggler after the match. There's a 3-on-1 beatdown. They get saved by Slater and Rhino for reasons. Now, I like this. Babyfaces all sticking together. Slater's the ultimate good guy. Yeah, I can speak, I swear. Slater's like that ultimate, like, dumbfounded nice guy. He's going to want to help somebody else that's in trouble. But they came out to beat down the Spirit Squad. Now, the There's a part of me that's really, really worried that this means that the guys from the Spirit Squad are going to hang around and try to get a title shot from Slater and Rhino, and that just concerns me a little bit. We go over the Becky Lynch injury and the fact that her match did not happen on Sunday with Alexa Bliss. We show some stuff from Instagram and Twitter from Becky Lynch. I'll be watching the pay-per-view / I'll be watching SmackDown with high interest, and they make the announcement that November 8th, when SmackDown is live from Glasgow, Scotland, is when Alexa Bliss will cash in her title shot. We then go to Bryan and Shane in the back, and they talk about Survivor Series. They talk about the continuing rivalry between SmackDown and Raw, which does kind of make me laugh because they promote each other's shows and they give each other like actual verbal on-screen pats on the back and stuff like that. So if there's a rivalry, it's not developing very well, but you know, they are two separate brands, so there's sort of inset rivalry without them doing anything. So they lay down 3 challenges back to back to back to Raw, because SmackDown, now that No Mercy is over, they have nothing to worry about from now until Survivor Series. So here's the 3 challenges. Your 5 best guys against our 5 best guys at Survivor Series in a Survivor Series match. Your 5 best girls against our 5 best girls, which is super shady because Raw doesn't have a women's division. And your 5 best teams versus our 5 best teams. Now, once again, I put the challenge out to Raw. Tell me 5 tag teams on Raw. The only thing that concerns me about this is it means that we're not going to get either women's title or either tag title defended at the Survivor Series, which is kind of concerning. But it really does help us jumpstart into the actual brand extension, actual brand rivalry between Raw and SmackDown. And considering that this was the year that we brought back the brand split, if we at least can end off the year with a little bit of animosity between the two brands, I think that's good. I think we need to bring back, I've said this before, but I'll say it again. We need to bring back bragging rights. If there's a brand extension and a brand split, it needs to include all 3 brands. And we need to change how they handle Clash of Champions, if they're going to keep it as the Clash of Champions, and make that a multi-branded pay-per-view as well, including NXT. These are all my opinions, and these are all things that I think would be fucking great. Clash of Champions. Can you imagine nothing but world champion versus world champion, tag champion versus tag champion, women's champion versus women's champion? I guess you throw some odds and ends together, you have the NXT champion versus the Cruiserweight champion. Can you imagine right now, Shinsuke Nakamura versus TJ Perkins? Oh, yes. No titles on the line, just whose champions are better. Or you get into the whole days of old where they had the Champion of Champions championship, which was actually a literal physical thing in one of the video games. Speaking of video games, I did pick up WWE 2K17 today. I only have a PS3, so I'm not playing the exact same version that most people are playing. I suggest you guys go check out OKFabe on his Twitch channel. I think it's just twitch.tv/OKFabe, but I could be wrong. He did some live streaming at 12:01 last night after he was on some show that I can't remember the name of. Talking about Raw, etc., and it wasn't much of a party. It's alright. I like the fact that the controls are the same. I like the fact that you start off with basically like not even half a roster and you gotta earn the roster. That, you know, that's a motivating factor. I don't know, I didn't pre-order, so I gotta figure out how to get Goldberg, etc., etc., etc. But yeah, people are asking me if I'm gonna do like live to YouTube stuff. I literally don't know how to do that kind of stuff, so it's not going to be my cup of tea, and I can't imagine that I'd be the best commentator in the world. But I will be having fun. If anybody has any questions, you know, give me a couple of weeks. If you want to throw something in the Q&A about what I think about WWE 2K17 so far, then I'll answer the best I can. I mean, not all attributes are available in all versions of the game, so the simple answer might be, well, my game doesn't do that. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. Really, really cool way for me to end what was, quite honestly, a very shitty day at work. But yeah, these challenges, 5-on-5 Survivor Series matches are long at the best of times. I mean, the women's match may not be that long, but with the women's revolution, all that sort of thing, they may make it long just for the sake of it. The men, I'm really worried that they're going to still try and crank out some title matches on this show, so the men's match may be full of mid to lower carders, so it might be a little less, you know what I mean? people are already laughing at the 5 teams versus 5 teams, which would be 10 on 10 Survivor Series matches, but go look in your Survivor Series history. It used to happen a lot. Yeah, that's a thing. I was going to say something else about the challenges, but I really can't think of anything else to say. Carmella versus Naomi. Because I need to have my weekly seizure, and her entrance keeps getting worse. Her entrance makes me think that I either need to be on more drugs or less drugs. You can speculate on that as you will. Playing up on Carmella's loss to Nikki Bella, they show a package in the back of Nikki Bella being interviewed by Renee Young and getting jumped by Carmella. I'm going to jump forward a little bit because I do watch Talking Smack if I have time. As you guys know, she happened to make an offhand joke that every time she gets interviewed by Renee Young that she gets jumped by Carmella, and she asked Renee Young, in a joking fashion obviously, if Renee Young was in cahoots with Carmella, which wasn't as funny as I think she thought it was going to be. Naomi's shit entrance gives me a seizure, is my first note on this match. But Carmella brawls Naomi from behind, locks her in a neck vise, hits her with a sit-down hair takedown from behind, rides a headlock, and turns it into a backpack sleeper. Naomi hits what I call the I fall down a lot sloppy jawbreaker and follows it up with another favorite. And in my Q&A last month, they said, is it worse than the Daniel Bryan silly kicks? Yes, it's worse than the Daniel Bryan silly kicks. It's the no actual contact Naomi dance kicks. Oh, yes. Hair takedown off the second rope by Carmella. Nikki Bella distracts from the ramp. Naomi gets another win that she doesn't deserve. Nikki and Carmella brawl. Carmella escapes through the crowd. Daniel Bryan, in the back while Alexa Bliss is watching the match, announces that there's a rematch next week between Naomi and Alexa Bliss, which kind of makes me vomit in my mouth a little bit because it means that WWE is once again trying to make Naomi relevant, trying to make Naomi seem like she knows what she's doing, and trying to make her seem like she belongs in the title picture when she really, really doesn't. Let's be real. Jimmy Uso versus Chad Gable, like moving the American Alpha and Uso story along. Not a fast match, but it keeps it going. It saves us from just having Alpha versus Usos again, Alpha versus Usos again, Alpha versus Usos again. The slow build that they are doing between Alpha and Usos might be the third best thing on the show. First is Miz and Ziggler. Second is Alexa Bliss and Becky Lynch. Third is the build that they've got going between the Usos and Alpha. Waistlock takedown, a trip takedown, and an armbar by Gable. 2 more takedowns and back to the armbar once again. Kitchen sink and a Samoan drop by Jimmy, followed up by a headlock. Headbutt by Jimmy, backdrop by Gable, and a 10 punch in the corner. Top rope clothesline and an exploder suplex by Gable. Armbar over the ropes by Gable, but Jimmy goes for a roll up, and his brother just sits there on the apron, puts 1 foot out just to hold his brother in place long enough to get the quick pin. Nice. It's subtle. It's good. There's nothing big. There's nothing gaping. There's just these little things. There's these little things where it's like if the Usos weren't assholes, the Alpha would have their number every single time, but they just get that little bit, and it's fucking good, man. It's really, really good. I don't know why, because we don't see them for the rest of the night, but there's a really awkward stare down in the back between the Hype Bros and the Ascension. Hype Bros are fun for what they are. I don't think WWE is trying to make them a big deal, but they are a fun tag team to have out there. And as the gimmick indicates, they do bring a lot of energy to any matches that they're in. They were in a 4-on-4 match in the kickoff. When they lost the women's championship match at No Mercy, they moved Swagger and Corbin to the main card, which I thought was a brilliant idea because their match was great, and they threw in generic tag team 4-on-4, here's all the tag teams that aren't currently in the title picture, which is cool because I like what they're doing. I've said it before, SmackDown has a better women's division and a better tag team division than Raw because they are able to say, here's the champion situation of this division, but here's the rest of the people in the division still doing something. Look at what they did. If Becky Lynch hadn't gotten hurt, you would have had Becky Lynch versus Alexa Bliss and Carmella versus Nikki Bella, which means you actually have a story developing here. It's not just, there's a belt, they're fighting over it. they can do other things, and it's fucking great. It's fucking wonderful. AJ Styles comes out, says the champ is still here, talks about his victory at No Mercy, you know, really leaning hard on the phenomenal pun. You all live vicariously through me, so go ahead and cheer me. You can't cheer Ambrose because he's a fucking loser, and you can't cheer John Cena because predictably he's gone off to try and be a TV star. Ambrose comes out, tells him he always likes to find the easy way out. He says, you don't want to face me, but don't worry, I'm not done with you. AJ says, I'm a fighting champion. I'm going to give a new superstar a chance tonight. Calls out James Ellsworth and says this guy was supposed to be my tag team partner a couple weeks ago, but he was savagely beaten by The Miz. Now, that led to The Miz and AJ Styles being a tag team, which I enjoyed a lot, but this works for the storyline. I'm giving him a shot. I'm a fighter, non-title, but James Ellsworth gets a shot at me tonight, not my title. Daniel Bryan comes out and says, you don't make the matches, I do, but if you want to give James Ellsworth a match with yourself tonight, that's cool, that's fine, I will approve that match. Dean Ambrose is the referee. And he reminds him, if you touch the referee, you will be suspect to fines and suspensions. Ambrose comes out, you know, big shit-eating grin on his face like he does, strips the referee of his t-shirt. Referee is wearing an awkward muscle shirt underneath and sort of gets out of the way quickly. Ambrose then sits there and he's like, well, if I'm going to be a referee, I got to empty my pockets. He starts handing all the contents of his pockets to AJ Styles. He's got playing cards and keys and a flask, which is fucking great. And there was something on the end of a string. I don't really want to know because it's fucking Dean Ambrose. AJ Styles, legitimately, versus James Ellsworth. With Dean Ambrose as the referee. Styles owns, obviously. It's fucking James Ellsworth who barely has a chin. As soon as the guy came out, I remember General Jerry. I encourage you guys all go check out General Jerry. Ranting about James Ellsworth and saying, he looks like a scrotum. He actually looks like a scrotum. Jerry, I'm sorry, I can't do an Irish accent, but you know the video I'm talking about. And to top that all off, if I wasn't already laughing about that, JBL insists on calling him Cinderella, which is good. Ellsworth, in this entire match, gets one punch and one roll-up attempt after Ambrose trips AJ Styles. 2 chants go up during this match that just make me laugh. If I wasn't laughing at this match, they would have pissed me off. And I know they piss off other people, and I get it. But you know what? With something like this, you have to let yourself have a little bit of fun sometimes. There's Let's Go Ellsworth and Fight Forever, which is fucking great. AJ finally gets sick of it all, puts Ellsworth in the calf crusher. Ambrose goes down to see if he submits, and then stops to take a phone call because I guess he didn't take his cell phone out of his pocket. Ambrose steps outside in the ring for a second for some autographs and some selfies with the crowd. Comes back in, dirty deeds, pulls Ellsworth over to get the pin, and AJ Styles kicks out at 2. Fine, wonderful, whatever. Steps out for a drink, eats a bit of somebody's popcorn, hops back in the ring, hits another dirty deeds on AJ Styles, pulls over Ellsworth, and listen to me, folks. James fucking Ellsworth got a pin over the WWE World Champion. It gets better. Hang out later on when we hear something else. Orton versus Kane, Orton and Kane, who are taking on the reconstructed Wyatt family tonight, give themselves an odd pep talk of sorts, and Randy Orton, sort of describes where his mind's at, going to that dark place, going to Viperville, etc. And you get the always comical line when Kane tells somebody else that they have issues. Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper, the returning Luke Harper, I can speak, I fucking swear. Bray Wyatt and the returning Luke Harper versus Orton and Kane. Wyatt comes out and cuts a promo, says, Randy Orton, we can do this a lot longer, there's big dark spaces in the world and people like you and me fill them, rah-de-rah-de-rah. I've brought my I see you brought your monster, don't worry, I've brought mine, which is fucking great. Boots and chops by Kane to start, uppercut by Wyatt, corner beatdown by Kane, and a boot, and some cheap shots by Orton on the outside. Wyatt and Harper bail as we go to commercial break. Second rope suplex by Orton to tackle a clothesline, side slam by Kane, and a drop kick by Harper, playing anything you can do, I can do better. You guys know I love that story. Kane eats the guardrail on the outside, running senton by Wyatt, super kick by Harper, and a mudhole stomp. Mudhole stomp by Wyatt, taking over where his partner left off. Uppercut by Harper, and a front facelock. DDT by Kane, rolling clotheslines and a slam by Orton. Fez press and mounted punches by Orton. Wyatt and Orton brawl to the outside, but he comes back inside for a suspension DDT, eats a super kick by Harper, goes for the tag to Kane. We have the flash scare. The lights go out. The lights come back on. Kane has become Luke Harper. Sister Abigail, Wyatt and Harper get the win. We go off the air with all the commentators saying Wyatt got one over on Orton again. Guys, where is Kane? Now, nobody cares about Kane, but the whole, well, where the fuck is he, is a very honest way to end the show. Talking Smack was very cool. I will tell people to check out sort of the second half. The first half of it was just Daniel Bryan talking about the challenges that he's made to Raw. Nikki Bella comes on to talk about her issues with Carmella and says she would definitely be willing to be on Team SmackDown if that match actually happens, and she would work with Carmella if Carmella happened to be on the same team. Now we got some announcements for next week. Alexa Bliss versus Naomi, which makes me vomit in my mouth as I say. We got another rematch of Corbin versus Swagger. I guess they're calling this the rubber match. I don't mind that at all. These guys have decent in-ring chemistry for two big guys that aren't really doing anything else. And next week on SmackDown, we've got a blockbuster for the WWE World Championship. AJ Styles versus James fucking Ellsworth. The Talking Smack ends in about 15 minutes when it's usually a half hour. Renee Young's trying to sign off. They do the jump scare on Talking Smack. The lights come back on. Harper and Wyatt are on the other side of the table. Renee Young, props to her, looks like she's going to shit herself. And Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper cut what I can only refer to as an amazing character promo. If anybody's taken Shakespeare, I would almost call this a soliloquy. I really would. I can't do it justice. I honestly do suggest those of you that don't watch Talking Smack or don't have the WWE Network, go find this on YouTube. It's only about 3 minutes long, but it's basically the whole Bray Wyatt saying, you know, something was missing, now my brother's home and I feel whole again. Luke Harper saying, I made my glorious return on Sunday, and this particular show, meaning Talking Smack, thought they'd glaze over it and talk about our manager's new upcoming baby, and that's ridiculous. Nobody cares. Nobody gives a crap. If nobody's going to talk about us, we're going to make them talk about us, which is fucking great. And it's not just the content of what they say, just the way they brought like the Wyatt, like that dark energy kind of idea to the talk show was really, really well done. Now, I don't want them to do a whole bunch of this. Small doses will make it great, but this was, guys, there was a lot of silly stuff on the show tonight. But it was fine. Like, is AJ Styles legitimately threatened by James Ellsworth? No, but it's a prop in the ongoing issue that he has with Ambrose. Ambrose fucked him over. Ambrose made him look silly tonight because the champion lost to a jobber. It's fucking good. Now, do I want to see Kane in the main event all the time? No, but he's a sidekick to Randy Orton, who's fighting a guy that has a sidekick, who's also a monster. Is everything perfect? No. Do I wish Naomi was off my screen? Absolutely yes, because, you know, I'm gonna have fucking epileptic seizures every time she comes to the ring. Not to mention the fact that she's going to hurt somebody. Like, that is a fact. SmackDown, not fantastic tonight, still leaps and bounds over Raw. And Raw just announced the whole Lesnar-Goldberg thing. Raw just announced what I'm actually kind of excited about is the Women's Hell in the Cell. As a whole, though, Blue Team still wins. Hands fucking down. You're a whole lot more likely to see me skip a Raw review than you are to see me skip a SmackDown review, I'll tell you that much. And with what's coming up tomorrow night on NXT, the worst kept secret in NXT history, can't wait to talk to you guys about that, but that's for tomorrow. That's for the yellow night. This is the blue night, and I am Spaz, your YWC reality check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I'm tagging out. Bye, guys.
You're a freak like me.